bring in our political editor, Andrew Clennell. And Andrew, we use the term bombshell a bit in politics, but this absolutely was one.
Yes, Kieran. Well, let's start with this shock offer of resignation from Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce to Scott Morrison after the leak of a historic text message from Joyce intended for alleged Parliament rape victim Brittany Higgins, where Joyce called Scott Morrison a hypocrite and a liar. On Thursday, Mr Joyce discovered that this text was going to be released and telephoned the Prime Minister to apologise and offer to resign. The response from Scott Morrison, as I understand it, was words to the effect of, "Please don't do that." Imagine what effect such a resignation would have on a government already under siege in the polls 3 months out from an election. I've been told Joyce may have offered his resignation as much as 3 times in the conversation, although this is disputed. But I believe the Deputy PM is not happy with the words used in Scott Morrison's statement in relation to this. Those words from the PM were, "I understand Barnaby was in a different headspace last year, both professionally and personally, and so I know he genuinely no longer feels that way. Joyce does not think he was in a bad headspace personally at the time." The text message which was leaked was a message from Barnaby Joyce to Brittany Higgins last March through an unidentified third party who is not in the Parliament. That individual, I'm told, has been involved in supporting women with workplace issues. The text from the then backbencher read, "He," as in Scott Morrison, "is a hypocrite and a liar from my observations, and that is over a long time. I've never trusted him, and I dislike how he earnestly rearranges the truth to a lie." Scott Morrison has now had publicity around the French President Emmanuel Macron, former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, and the current Deputy Prime Minister, calling him a liar in the space of 3 months. That's on top of former New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian calling him a horrible person in another leaked text. Deputy PM Barnaby Joyce, well, he's pulled out of a scheduled appearance on the ABC's Insiders program this morning at the 11th hour. He did appear at a press conference in Sydney at 9 a.m. yesterday where he apologised and mentioned how he offered to resign. But Joyce said people needed to get off this and focus on more important things like national security and avoiding what he called the prospect of a Greens Labor government.
I apologised. He accepted my apology. I offered my resignation, and he did not accept my resignation. The Australian people, as I walked down Botany Road last night, or if I'm out in the country, have no real interest in some of the intrigues in Canberra to the extent that we're interested in them. What they're interested in is their future. What they're terribly concerned about and interested in is such things as what China and Russia are agreeing to at the moment.
And Barnaby Joyce's deputy, David Littleproud, admitted to sending insulting texts about Scott Morrison at times on Sky News with Janie Seal following the press conference yesterday. But he said, what would you expect a National to say about a Liberal? Littleproud also said Morrison was not a liar.
Of course I have. I'm from the National Party. The Liberal Party has different values and beliefs, but the one thing I'd say about Scott Morrison, he never lies. I mean, we fight hard, and that's the thing, is that's a good thing. That competitive tension means that we get better outcomes for Australia. And because I don't get everything I want, I'm a petulant child sometimes too, and I criticise him to my colleagues and say I didn't get what I want. He's a tough bugger.